The sun was beginning to set over the quiet town, casting a golden hue on the dusty windows of a small, humble garage tucked between two old brick buildings. Inside, the scent of oil, rust, and rubber hung heavy in the air. A radio hummed softly. In the background, barely audible over the clink of tools and the occasional hiss of steam, 12-year-old Leela stood in the corner, her overalls too big and her ponytail smudged with grease. Eyes wide as a red Ferrari was rolled into the garage on a flat bed. Asterisk, it gleamed, even in its broken state, a symbol of wealth and power that didn't belong in this sleepy town. Lila stepped closer, mesmerized. The hood was dented, the engine silent. It looked hurt. Her fingers twitched, instinctively wanting to help, to fix, to understand. The garage owner, Joe, a gruff man with a kind heart and Leela's guardian, walked over and shook his head. Asterisk, don't even think about it, he warned, wiping his hands on a rag. That thing's not like the pickups we patched together. It's complicated. Rich man's toy. Asterisk. Lila nodded, but her eyes didn't leave the car. That night, long after the lights were supposed to be out and Joe had gone to bed, Lila slipped back into the garage. The moonlight filtered through the roof, casting soft shadows across the floor. She climbed onto a stool, opened the hood, and stared in awe at the complex maze of machinery. But it wasn't scary. It was like a puzzle, and puzzles made sense to her. Asterisk. Her hands moved carefully, reverently, guided by instinct more than training. She whispered to the car like it could hear her. You're not broken, just waiting. She tightened a valve, adjusted the fuel line, checked connections, and cleaned out debris that had clogged the airflow. Every motion was quiet, deliberate. She didn't even know how long she worked. Asterisk. When she finally stepped back, her cheeks smudged and hair frizzed. She felt it, a click in her chest, like the world had shifted slightly. She glanced at the car one last time, smiled softly, and whispered goodnight. Then, as quietly as she came, she vanished into the shadows, unaware she'd just started a chain of events that would change her life forever. Asterisk. Morning light spilled through the garage windows, catching on the polished curves of the red Ferrari. Joe walked in, half asleep, coffee in hand, ready to explain to the rich city client that there was nothing he could do. But something was different. The car looked cleaner, reconnected, balanced. He squinted, stepping closer, lifting the hood. Everything was in place, tighter, smarter. Asterisk. Before he could process it, the garage door creaked open. In stepped Mr. Donovan, tall, sharply dressed, his presence commanding. He looked out of place among the tools and oil stains. His eyes locked onto the car, skeptical. Is it ready? He asked, arms crossed, not expecting a yes. Asterisk. Joe opened his mouth, then closed it. He wasn't sure. Maybe, he muttered. Grabbing the keys and slipping into the driver's seat, he turned the ignition. Asterisk. The engine roared to life. Smooth, powerful, perfect. Asterisk. Joe stepped out slowly, dazed. I didn't touch it, he said quietly. Not yet. Asterisk. From the shadows, Lila emerged, hands behind her back, biting her lip. She looked up at Mr. Donovan, then at Joe. I just looked at it, she said softly. It wasn't that broken. Asterisk. Mr. Donovan knelt slightly to meet her eyes. There was something in her face, familiar, echoes of someone he couldn't place. What's your name? He asked. Asterisk. Leela. Asterisk. He stared for a long moment, heart thudding louder than the engine behind him. Asterisk. City lights twinkled beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows of Mr. Donovan's penthouse office. The world outside was alive with motion, but inside, the room was quiet. Still, Mr. Donovan sat alone at his massive mahogany desk, the earlier events at the garage still turning in his mind. The girl's face, her eyes, her presence, it all stirred something long buried. Asterisk. He stood and crossed the room to a tall cabinet. With a deep breath, he pulled open a drawer he hadn't touched in years. Dust rose in the air as he lifted out a small wooden box, worn and weathered. He carried it gently to the desk and opened the lid. Asterisk. Inside were fragments of a life long gone, a tiny pink sock, a hospital bracelet, and a photograph. A younger Donovan smiled beside a woman with kind eyes holding a baby girl no older than 6 months. The girl's eyes, wide, curious, deep, mirrored Leela's exactly. Asterisk. His breath caught. His hand trembled as he touched the photo. Is it possible? He whispered. Asterisk. Memories surged. The accident, the chaos, the lies told by lawyers and doctors. They said his daughter hadn't survived, that everything was gone, but something had always felt wrong. Now, for the first time in years, the pain resurfaced, not with grief, but with hope. Asterisk, he leaned back in his chair, staring at the photo, then at the city lights. Lila, that name, that look, that spark. Somewhere deep in his heart, he felt the truth pulling at him. He hadn't lost her, not completely. And now, somehow, she had found her way back. Asterisk rain hammered the tin roof of the garage, thunder rumbling in the distance. The flickering overhead light cast long, shaky shadows on the oil-stained floor. Mr. Donovan stood just inside the entrance, his coat soaked, his expression unreadable. Across from him, Joe leaned against the workbench, arms crossed, tense. Asterisk, you knew, Donovan said, voice low but heavy. All this time, you knew who she was. Asterisk Joe looked away, jaw tight. I didn't plan on lying. I planned on protecting her. Asterisk, from what? Me. Donovan stepped forward. She's my daughter. Asterisk Joe slammed a wrench onto the table. She's not just your daughter, she's a kid. A kid who grew up thinking the world didn't want her. You think showing up in a fancy car makes it okay now? Asterisk. Donovan's face darkened. They told me she died. For 12 years, I believed it. Then I see her standing in front of my car, fixing it like she's been doing it her whole life. And she has my daughter's eyes. Asterisk, the rain grew louder, a storm matching the tension in the room. In the doorway, unnoticed, Lila stood frozen. She had heard it all, every word. Asterisk Joe's voice softened. I loved her like my own. I did what I could. Asterisk Donovan turned, spotting Lila. The anger melted from his face, replaced by something fragile. Lila, I didn't know. If I had. Asterisk, she looked between them, the only father she had ever known, and the one she never knew she had. Her voice trembled. Why didn't anyone tell me? Asterisk, neither man had an answer. Only silence and the sound of the rain remained. The sun dipped, low on the horizon, casting long golden streaks across the empty racetrack. The once stormy skies had cleared, leaving behind a soft breeze and the scent of fresh rain on asphalt. The Ferrari sat at the edge of the track, gleaming in the fading light. Its engine quiet now, waiting. Asterisk Lila stood beside it, arms crossed, staring out over the open track. Her ponytail fluttered in the breeze, her eyes lost in thought. A moment later, Mr. Donovan approached, slow and unsure, holding two helmets in his hands. His expensive jacket was gone, replaced by a simple shirt with rolled-up sleeves. He didn't look like the man who walked into the garage days ago, polished, distant, untouchable. He looked, human. Asterisk, I thought maybe we could take it for a spin, he said gently, offering one helmet. Only if you want to. Asterisk Lila glanced at him, not speaking at first. Then she took the helmet and ran her fingers over it. Did you really think I was gone? She asked, her voice small. Asterisk Donovan nodded, pain flickering in his eyes. I did. I believed them. I never stopped feeling like something was missing, but I never thought I'd get that piece back. Asterisk, there was a pause. Lila looked down. Joe raised me. He taught me how to fix engines, how to live without asking for much. Asterisk, he did a good job, Donovan said, his voice warm but filled with regret. I'm not here to take you away from that. I don't want to erase the life you had. I just, I want to be in it now, if you'll let me. Asterisk Lila looked up at him, studying his face. The same eyes, the same stubborn jaw. She nodded slowly, then smiled, a small, hesitant smile, but real. Okay, but I'm driving. Asterisk Donovan chuckled, relieved. Deal. Asterisk, they slid into the Ferrari, side by side. The engine roared to life under Lila's hands, smoother than ever, as the car took off down the track, tires humming on wet pavement. A laugh escaped from her, free and unguarded. Asterisk, for the first time, she wasn't just fixing what was broken. She was finally building something new. Together, they disappeared into the golden horizon. Not strangers, not lost, but finally found. Asterisk, the Ferrari cruised smoothly along the track, wind rushing past them, but inside the car, it felt peaceful, like the world had finally quieted. Lila kept her hands steady on the wheel, eyes focused ahead, a soft grin tugging at her lips. Mr. Donovan sat beside her, glancing over now and then, quietly amazed, not just by her driving, but by her presence, calm, sharp, and fearless. Asterisk, they pulled over near the edge of the track, just where the sunset painted the pavement gold. Lila killed the engine. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence between them wasn't uncomfortable anymore. It was full of the things they didn't need to say just yet. Asterisk, I didn't think I'd ever get this chance, Donovan said softly, watching the horizon. To sit beside you, to see you like this. Asterisk Lila looked at him, thoughtful. I didn't think I was missing anything, but maybe I was. Her voice was quiet, unsure. It's weird. I don't know how to feel. Asterisk, you don't have to know right away, he replied, turning toward her. We can figure it out, one step at a time. Asterisk, she nodded slowly, her hand resting near the ignition. T! Asterisk.